Later, top headlines and more. And just a reminder, CoinDesk is a news source and does not provide investment advice. Later, top headlines and more. And just a reminder, CoinDesk is a news source and does not Bitcoin, Ether, and other top-traded tokens are down this morning, and markets seeing mixed action headed mostly lower. Traders of the original cryptocurrency were unimpressed by the latest U.S. gross domestic product, better known as GDP data, which saw an unexpectedly small jump that suggested the economy was cooling, even by official statistics, and jobless claims that indicated it was not, thanks at least in part to an unusually low reading from California, which some analysts have attributed to recent intense rain. Even so, Bitcoin is having its best start to the year since 2013, and the rally has been powered predominantly by U.S. buyers, according to observers. Quote, Bitcoin is up more than 40% year-to-date, with 35% of those returns occurring during U.S. trading hours. That's an 85% contribution to the rally associated with U.S.-based investors. Marcus Thielen, head of research and strategy at crypto services provider Matrixport, said in a note to clients this morning, continuing, "We interpret this as a clear signal that U.S. institutions are buyers of Bitcoin right now." End quote. And for reference, Bitcoin surged 51% back in January of 2013. To Thielen's other points, unlike stocks, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrencies in general, trade 24 hours a day, allowing market watchers to keep track of order flows across different timeframes and infer the source of buying or selling pressure. Institutions' bullish positioning is also evident from the renewed premium in Bitcoin futures listed on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Quote, institutions are not only buying Bitcoin spot, rather, we are also seeing consistently high premiums for perpetual futures. We interpret this as an indication that faster institutional traders and hedge funds are actively buying the recent dip in crypto markets, Thielen noted. Deutsche Digital Assets, meanwhile, made a similar observation earlier this month, drawing attention to the uptick in the Coinbase premium as evidence of increased buying interest from sophisticated U.S.-based investors relative to retail investors. Quote, traditional and crypto-focused hedge funds, corporates, and traditional asset managers have been buying, Coinbase Institutional's head of research wrote in a weekly market commentary published on January 20th. Bitcoin's institution-led bullish turnaround might be a good sign for the U.S. equity market as well, considering the cryptocurrency's record of bottoming out weeks ahead of the S&P 500. Zooming back in on today, Ether meanwhile has followed a similarly slightly reddish path to trade just below its current support of $1,600. Other major cryptos sank more deeply, with the token of the Layer 1 network Aptos recently dropping nearly 5% to lose some of the ground that it gained earlier this week, although it is still far above last year's prices. The native token of the Polygon network, meanwhile, was the exception to Thursday's price trend, recently rising more than 7%. Matic is up about 45% so far this year, amid significant transaction volume. Today's crypto coverage comes courtesy of CoinDesk markets analysts James Rubin and Omkar Goodlay. Bitcoin is currently trading at $22,899. That's down a little bit more than 1% over the last 24 hours, while Ether is trading at $1,572 per token. That's down a bit more than 2.5% in the same time period, according to the CoinDesk Market Index. And speaking of the CoinDesk Market Index, we're looking at an absolute reading this morning of 1,077. That's down from 1,089 yesterday, and represents a bit more than a 1% decline across top-traded tokens. Now, before we get to today's traditional markets update, let's take a quick look at some top headlines. First up, let's get a pulse check on the crypto industry from Washington, D.C. For the second time, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, better known as the SEC, has rejected a joint effort by ARK Investment Management and 21 Shares to list a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, better known as an ETF. This time, the SEC said the exchange, on which the ETF would be listed, had failed to, quote, demonstrate that its proposal is consistent with the requirements surrounding prevention of fraud and other malevolent practices, end quote. It's the latest in a long line of rejections from the U.S. securities regulator, who, unlike Canada and a handful of other nations, has refused to allow a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund that actually holds Bitcoin. U.S. ETFs tracking the original cryptocurrency which have been authorized to date instead rely on large rolling futures contracts tracking the price of Bitcoin through derivatives, which is, in many ways, a sketchier vehicle involving counterparty risk. But it's typically portrayed by the regulator as safer, at least from their perspective, because futures trade on federally regulated exchanges. It's another point of frustration within the industry with the U.S. regulators, and one that doesn't seem likely to change anytime soon. In related news, the SEC is conducting an inquiry into registered investment advisors about whether they are following rules around custody of client crypto assets, according to a Reuters report that cites 3 unnamed sources. In particular, they're warning public companies that if they have a stake in the industry's recent crypto contagion, they'd better tell their investors. In classic closing the barn door after the horses are gone fashion, The SEC has asked if companies face any risks to their business, quote, due to excessive redemptions, withdrawals, or a suspension of redemptions or withdrawals of crypto assets, end quote. And one final note before we stop talking about the SEC, developers behind the shuttered, decentralized crypto exchange Mango Markets say they're pushing forward with a relaunch of the project, even as the SEC alleges the project's native token is a security. The U.S. securities regulator hasn't alleged any wrongdoing by Mango itself, but the agency last week accused a controversial trader named Abraham Eisenberg, who drained $116 million from the exchange in October, of securities market manipulation. Securities lawyers who aren't involved in the case told CoinDesk that the SEC might be laying the groundwork to bring a case against the exchange that issued that token to its investors when it launched in 2021. Quote, by noting that purportedly ineligible U.S. investors participated in the token sale, the SEC is implying that it also has authority to bring a future case, asserting this is an unregistered securities offering, said Howard Fisher, a former SEC trial counsel. The SEC, meanwhile, declined to comment for this story. CoinDesk's Jamie Crowley, Danny Nelson, and Amitash Singh have a bunch more details on these stories linked in the show notes. Elsewhere in Washington, in a Wednesday speech, Commodity Futures Trading Commission, or CFTC, Commissioner Kristen Johnson formally called on Congress to modify several pieces of proposed digital asset legislation to expand her agency's authority to conduct due diligence on any firm, foreign or domestic, seeking to purchase a minimum 10% share of the equity interest in a CFTC-registered market participant. Quote, specifically drawing from the example of Ledger X, I am advocating for regulation that formalizes the obligation to separate customer property, ensure financial resource requirements, and introduce effective governance and risk management controls, Johnson said, referring to the CFTC-regulated firm that was acquired and operated by the now-defunct FTX empire. In the speech, she proposed that the CFTC initiate a notice and comment process for proposed acquisitions to give the agency greater visibility into the financial health, corporate governance, and risk management of any business that wants to buy into a CFTC-regulated entity. CoinDesk's Cheyenne Ligon has more on this one, too. And with the new Congress finally getting underway, stablecoin legislation will be one of the top priorities for the newly formed U.S. House of Representatives Subcommittee on Digital Assets, Financial Technology, and Inclusion. Representative French Hill, a Republican from Arkansas, told CoinDesk's First Mover TV yesterday morning. Hill said the committee's current draft on stablecoins will serve as a model of how it will approach digital asset regulation, and the goal is to, quote, pick the right direction that will help produce innovation that is beneficial to developers, consumers, and investors, end quote. CoinDesk's Fran Velasquez reports. And just in case you were wondering, yes, stablecoins are also on the road to becoming a boring part of our everyday lives. To that end, big firm Moody's, which among other things provides credit ratings for publicly traded companies, is working on a system to score up to 20 stablecoins based on the quality of their reserve attestations. That's according to a report from Bloomberg citing a person familiar with the plans. The project is in its infancy, though, and won't be issuing any official credit ratings anytime soon, at least according to what another anonymous person told Bloomberg. CoinDesk's Nelson Wang has more on this one. And now, here's Adrian Blust.
And finally, Pussy Riot's Nadia Tolokonikova and street artist Shepard Fairey are encouraging supporters to express their proof of protest on the blockchain through an open edition collection of non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, to raise funds for Ukraine. The collection, titled Putin's Ashes, will be available for purchase today, Friday, on Tezos-based NFT marketplace Object, spelled OBJKT. All of the proceedings from the collection will be donated to Ukrainian soldiers who have been battling the Russian invasion since February 2022. The open edition will start minting on Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time and end on February 3rd. Each NFT will be priced at 10 Tezos, or about $11 at current prices. Pussy Riot plans to open the collection with a protest and performance Friday in Los Angeles at the Jeffrey Deitch Gallery. Generally, Ukraine has embraced cryptocurrency and NFTs as alternative crowdfunding methods. In May, the country had received about $135 million in cryptocurrency donations since the start of the war. CoinDesk's Cam Thompson reports on that. And shifting to traditional markets. Equity markets continued their uneven climb upward this year, with the tech-heavy Nasdaq and the S&P 500, which also has a hefty technology component, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average all ticking up just around 0.5%, even as fourth quarter earnings continued to tilt negative, and a rising number of firms announced layoffs in anticipation of an economic contraction. Since the start of the year, Amazon, Microsoft, Salesforce, and more recently IBM have announced job cuts. The 2.5% rise in GDP and an unexpected decline in jobless claims on Thursday had little impact on the current investment environment, which turned cautiously hopeful that inflation will continue waning without the economy falling into deep recession. That combination would likely enable the U.S. central bank to ratchet back the size of its next interest rate hike next week. Now taking a look at Europe, it's a bit of a different story. Major indices inched lower, with the regional stock 600 and London's FTSE 100 dropping 0.2%. Germany's DAX, meanwhile, traded flat. In Asia, mainland China's Shanghai Composite Index remained closed for the Lunar New Year. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index, meanwhile, gained 0.5%, while Japan's Nikkei 225 traded relatively flat. In commodities markets, Brent crude, the global benchmark for oil, gained just over 0.1%, trading at $88 per barrel. Gold, meanwhile, is down 0.2%, trading at $1,924 per troy ounce. Today's traditional market coverage draws from the Wall Street Journal and MarketWatch. Stay tuned for after the break when we'll take a look at the year ahead, regulatory style. Back in a minute.
Join CoinDesk's Consensus 2023, the most important conversation in crypto and Web3, happening April 26th through 28th in Austin, Texas. Consensus is the industry's only event bringing together all sides of crypto, Web3, and the metaverse. Immerse yourself in all that blockchain technology has to offer creators, builders, founders, brand leaders, entrepreneurs, and more. Use code MARKETSDAILY to get 15% off your pass. Visit consensus.coindesk.com or check the link in the show notes.
Today's featured story is an opinion piece from Christopher Robbins, a contributing writer for CoinDesk's Crypto for Advisors newsletter. Our piece today is entitled 2023, The Year Regulators Finally Grasp Crypto. 2023 seems to have gotten off to a pretty good start for the digital asset space. Instability at several crypto projects seems to have at least temporarily resolved itself, and it's been a few weeks since the last disastrous headlines. Asset prices are up, crypto miners are reportedly ready to reboot their rigs, and retail speculators are once again hungrily eyeing the markets. Despite recent crypto market buoyancy and enthusiasm, we should not so quickly forget the challenges of last year. For one thing, many of the structural difficulties for the crypto markets remains in place, according to ZK Zhang, CEO of ZX Squared, a crypto hedge fund. Quote, 2023 continues to be challenging for investors, especially during the first half of the year when the Federal Reserve is still hawkish, raising interest rates to control inflation, Zhang said. Continuing, the current crypto bear market cycle may end when the Fed stops raising interest rates, hopefully by the second half of the year, and any remaining leverage in the crypto market is eliminated. This includes debt borrowing related to certain major market participants, investment firms, distressed assets, mining companies, and more. End quote. Several of the notable developments last year will help set the course for this year, not only the failures of FTX and Three Arrows Capital, but also the ongoing work to create a regulatory framework for digital assets in the financial industry, undertaken by government agencies. With some of the most spectacular crashes in the digital asset space in 2022, combined with the growing links between cryptocurrencies and the traditional finance system, 2023 is a year in which regulators will need to play a more central role, according to Zhang. Quote, a crypto regulatory framework needs to be further established and clarified for a new crypto bull market to come, Zhang said, continuing, it is absolutely imperative to have regulatory audits and transparencies to ensure that stablecoins are fully collateralized and centralized exchanges are well capitalized to avoid repeats of the Terra and FTX failures. This may also include a measure on how to handle the counterparty credit risks, which were at the heart of the domino effect during this crypto winter, end quote. Nigel Green, meanwhile, the CEO of one of the world's largest wealth management firms, De Beer Group, struck a similar tone. This week at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, he urged world leaders and influencers to address the issue of cryptocurrency regulations. Quote, the time for endless platitudes on greater regulatory scrutiny is over. Action is required, he said in a statement, continuing, should those in attendance at the WEF not advance the agenda of crypto regulation as a result of the 2023 summit, they will have spectacularly failed, end quote. Green offered 3 reasons that global leaders need to get serious about crypto regulation. First, crypto's growing role in the financial system. Second, the need for greater scrutiny to protect investors in the wake of collapses like Three Arrows Capital and FTX. And 3, the importance of boosting economies in emerging countries. Any regulatory framework must balance protecting investors and the financial system with the decentralized nature of digital assets and the need for freedom to innovate, according to Green. Green also recently commented on the recovery in digital asset prices, noting that the crypto winter appears to be thawing. Quote, of course, the crypto market will not go in a straight line, no market ever does, but we expect the bears to go into hibernation and the bulls are ready to run, he said in comments made over the weekend. Zhang said regulatory clarity is necessary for a long-term return to investor optimism. Quote, Crypto market cycles come and go, Zhang said, continuing, "This time is no different than the previous 3 extreme bear market cycles during Bitcoin's 14-year short history. The crypto market is driven by fear and greed, just like any other financial market. Bitcoin's long-term thesis is still intact. Crypto investor confidence will return, especially when the market becomes more appropriately regulated for institutional investors." End quote. And that's our show for today. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions or comments, send the show an email at podcast@coindesk.com, or you can email me directly at adamlevine@coindesk.com. If you like what we're doing, we always appreciate reviews on Apple Podcasts or your preferred listening platform. This episode was produced by Adrian Blust and myself, with further support from the podcast team over at coindesk.com. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Markets Daily. It's Thursday, January 26th, 2023, and this is Markets Daily from CoinDesk. I'm Adam B. Levine here again with Adrian Blust for your daily news roundup. On today's show, we're talking Bitcoin, bank-issued stablecoins, the latest headlines, and more. And just a reminder, CoinDesk is a news source and does not provide investment advice. Bitcoin, Ether, and most other top-traded tokens are in the green this morning, and markets almost universally headed up. Crypto prices made a comeback on Wednesday as Bitcoin soared past the $23,700 level before retreating slightly. BTC had sunk under $22,500 at one point Tuesday, as investors reaped profits from crypto's recent surge. Bitcoin has risen more than 35% so far this year, largely on tailwinds of declining official inflation readings and other economic data. The hope remains for traders and for central bankers that the Federal Reserve can get inflation back towards historical norms without pushing the economy into a deep recession. The bad news is, to really get at the experience of inflation, not just the official numbers we're all supposed to believe, the cost is almost certain to be significantly fewer people with good-paying jobs. The good news, at least for markets though, is that the federal government once again is starting the debt ceiling dance. And with Washington already having hit the current authorized limit, the U.S. Treasury has started its so-called extraordinary measures once again, which will have a stimulative effect on markets. And that's good for modern risk assets, but the opposite of what Central Bank Chief Jerome Powell is trying to accomplish. And so the beat goes on. Zooming in a bit, a slew of unfavorable fourth quarter earnings, including from tech giant Microsoft and Texas Instrument, as well as iconic aerospace company Boeing, seemed to derail at least the latter part of the narrative by Wednesday, sending stocks lower. Quote, "The January stock market rally might be over, and that could drag crypto lower here," Edward Moya, senior market analyst for foreign exchange market maker Owanda, wrote in an email to CoinDesk. Continuing, "Bitcoin could be vulnerable to a dip towards the $20,000 level if the tech-driven sell-off on Wall Street intensifies over the next couple of days," end quote. Ether, meanwhile, has followed a similar pattern to Bitcoin, rising from depths near $1,500 to return to its perch earlier this week above $16. So, at least for the moment, Ether is up by about 34% so far this year. Elsewhere, most other major cryptos were in the green, with APT, that's the token of Layer 1 blockchain Aptos, recently up more than 48% in the past 24 hours to hit an all-time high of $18.62. That project's token is up more than 425% since the first of the year, according to CoinDesk data. The spike is likely due to growth in non-fungible token markets on Aptos. Analysts, however, are warning that the funding rates for the tokens are still negative, suggesting traders expect the rally to be short-lived. OPT, meanwhile, the native token of Layer 2 Network Optimism, also rose to a record high of $2.34, nearly 20% gain from yesterday. Meanwhile, crypto exchange giant Binance's BUSD stablecoin extended its recent declines amid reported mismanagement issues involving the exchange's peg tokens that surfaced earlier this month, alongside other reported debacles. BUSD's circulating supply fell to $15.4 billion on Wednesday, paring down more than $1 billion over the past week and $2 billion so far this month, according to cryptocurrency price tracker CoinGecko. The latest drop extended BUSD's decline from $22 billion in early December, when anxious users scrambled to withdraw funds after parent exchange Binance botched a report about its digital asset reserves. The drop has come as the overall crypto market capitalization for stablecoins has dropped for a 10th consecutive month. So far in January, that number is around $137 billion, according to a report by research group CryptoCompare. Stablecoin dominance within the broad cryptocurrency market, therefore, has dropped to 12.4% from its all-time high of 16.5% in December, suggesting traders have been rotating from stablecoins into riskier assets, according to the report. Today's crypto coverage comes courtesy of CoinDesk markets analysts Lila Ledesma and James Rubin. Bitcoin is currently trading at $23,155. That's up about 3% since yesterday's episode, while Ether is trading at $1,614 per token. That's up almost 5% in the same time period, according to the CoinDesk Market Index. And speaking of the CoinDesk Market Index, we're looking at an absolute reading this morning of 1,089. That's up from 1,051 on yesterday's show, representing just over a 3.5% gain across top-traded tokens. Now, before we get to today's traditional markets update, let's take a quick look at some top headlines. First up, bankrupt crypto lender BlockFi mistakenly uploaded unredacted documents revealing its $1.2 billion worth of exposure to FTX and Alameda Research, according to a report from CNBC. The unredacted financials reveal the firm had $416 million worth of assets tied to FTX and about $831 million in loans to Alameda as of January 14th. These figures are significantly higher than the $355 million in assets on FTX and the $671 million loan to Alameda that was previously reported by BlockFi's legal counsel. A lawyer for BlockFi's creditor committee told CNBC that the filing was uploaded in error and declined to comment further. The unredacted financials paint an even more concerning picture for the firm. In fact, BlockFi is looking to generate liquidity by selling $160 million worth of loans, backed by around 68,000 Bitcoin mining rigs, according to a report from Bloomberg out on Monday. Amid its ongoing crisis, the firm is seeking the court's approval to pay its employees bonuses. A lawyer for the firm proposed a plan to award bonuses of 20 to 50% of the employees' salaries for them to remain at the firm. The company's chief people officer said it was necessary to retain key executives who had received competitive offers from other companies to prevent further strain on the bankrupt firm. This all comes courtesy of Unchained newsletters. In other news, scale-focused blockchain Polygon saw daily transactions range from 2 million to 3.7 million in the fourth quarter of last year, while daily active addresses range from 350,000 to 1.7 million, according to a new report from the blockchain analytics platform Nansen. The number of daily transactions surged on Polygon in early November, when users attempted to yank out funds from the now-defunct FTX exchange. Daily gas fees paid also peaked at that time. But according to the report, Polygon's volatility near the end of the year was about more than just FTX. Other reasons included the testing of a new zero-knowledge-based scaling solution, the launch of the Starbucks NFT loyalty program, with Instagram following close behind, allowing service users to launch their own NFT collections. Earlier in the year, Polygon also won the business of Reddit's NFT Avatar series. With so many tokens and blockchains out there, we typically choose to focus our attention in on just the ones that have really claimed a dominant role in their respective use cases. And mostly, that's just Bitcoin and Ethereum for now. But with Polygon notching wins with major consumer brands, it's a project that could join those ranks. Unless, of course, Ethereum's continued development obsoletes the need for further scaling layers. Either way, it's a story we'll be watching. CoinDesk's Margot Nagurk has more on this one. Elsewhere, crypto exchange Coinbase has been fined about $3.6 million by the Dutch Central Bank for offering crypto services to customers in the country without a formal registration. Dutch law requires crypto providers to register under anti-money laundering and terrorist financing norms. Quote, "The base amount of the fine has been increased due to the severity and degree of culpability."
Till I get up, time is I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the 4-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
Yes, I'ma get that bass the way she said it. Don't smoke in my face and I'ma let it stay the way it is. Yeah, hey now, I'm on my way. I'm circling around, she look like she wanna. I'm on my way. Tell me what you thought of. What if you say that you need it? Show that you want me. Yeah. I'm circling around, eating me alive. You want me to love you. What if you say that you need it? Show that you want me.
I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head. I've been stuck on your memory, but it's not like I need it. And we may have some history, but we don't have to repeat it. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I'm gonna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. 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 I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. Oh, clear my head. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head.
I used to be the lost boy running insane. I used to be the ghost boy looking for fame. I used to work so hard to get it, so hard to get it. I used to be the one living in the fast lane. I used to be the one who only cried in the rain. I used to work so hard to get it, and so hard to get it. And so hard to get it. I used to be the lost boy running insane. I used to be the ghost boy looking for.
I can feel your heart reaching out with open arms. I can feel your heart reaching out into the dark. Sometimes a minute takes days and feelings fade when you don't want them to. I hope you won't throw the blame my way, but if you do, oh, are you looking for, looking for, looking for, looking for echoes? Are you looking for, looking for, looking for, looking for? Sometimes the words I hate too late, lingering on the road. Oh, I hope you won't throw the blame my way, but if you do, oh, are you looking for, looking for, looking for, looking for echoes? Are you looking for, looking for, looking for echoes? Are you? I'm in trouble. Yeah, I let you down yet again. I'm a villain to you. So sudden. It's a riddle to please you. I guess I'ma need to take my time to save my pride again. Is a pace alright for the sake of just making amends? We could have had it all, but our tears are gonna fall. Maybe I'm not enough for you, or maybe I'm not enough to prove. Maybe it's just time for us to close this chapter. Kept on reeling, held on to a feeling. So why would I keep you when there was no reason? I guess I don't need to take my time to save my pride again. There's a place I'm right for the sake of just making amends. We could have had it all, but our tears are gonna fall. Maybe I'm not enough for you, or maybe I'm not enough to prove. Maybe it's just time for us to close this chapter. I could have told you a long time ago that it's uncertain how this love would grow. Now things are broken and I didn't know how far you'd gone. I should have told you a long time ago that I could never fully love you so. Now you are broken and I should have known. I stayed too long, but you will find someone who'll love you blind and deserves you twice as much than I could ever have. You will find someone who jumped through fire just to get the time with you I should never have had. I'm sorry. I should have told you a long time ago. I'd love to stay, but I should better go. 'Cause every second will increase the blow after our fall. I should have told you a long time ago that it's me you should be blaming for the things that broke, and I just hope you know it's not your fault. But you will find someone who'll love you blind and deserves you twice as much than I could ever have. You will find someone who jumped through fire just to get the time with you I should never have had. I'm sorry.
I will rumble in this upside down and play the dumb talking. Things are turning around against you and me, him and her. The mother earth is unleashing the wrath that humanity's worth. We know what time it is, 2020, year of the punishment. COVID hit hard and it's tougher than ever been. The years just settle in. I wonder what is coming. Gotta be honest here, the shit is bugging. It's the moment of truth, a great example for you. Appreciate it in actions, what it's given.
was tryna fuck me. Where the fuck the room at? Where the fuck your hoes at? Where the fuck your whip at? You still whipping mopeds? I might get a scat pack. My little baby ass fat, come and throw that ass back. I don't want a Tesla, my whip goes on octane. It costs a little extra. I'ma run these bands up. When I hit the AM, I might get my mama Lexus. I'm at 30 of them. I'm a dirty fucker. I make 6 figures, but I need another. iPhone out of space. Got 1,000 numbers. You can have that gunker. She just wants some money. She just want a little baby, but on ammo, bitch. Gon' buy the plan B, not Nintendo's, bitch. Gon' buy a nice Switch and extendos. That's a triple entendre for you idiots. I don't take no threats serious. If they really bout it, they'll be quiet. I ain't new to this. I got blood on the cocaine. Swipe it with some bleach, then ignite it with some propane. All white forces, on red Jordans, off-white Lauren. You cannot afford this drip, too gorgeous. Cutting up foreigns. I just found ops, turn them into corpses.
never had a gas off. Oppers fool me, so I put my mask on. Keep the two of me, gotta keep the 9 high. Flexing Louis V, yeah, keep my cash on. Sticking true to me, I never had a gas off. I'ma pop off, yeah, I said I'll pop off. Hit a lotto hard, end up in a drop top. Sticky commas, yeah, keep them in my lockbox. People fall lifestyle. Live like it's GTA, we riding with a top off. I rack 100 case, I don't take no nights off. I'm living in a race, so I had a blast off. I be fooling me, so I put my mask on. Keep the two of me, gotta keep the night high. Flexing Louis V, yeah, I keep my cash on. Sticking true to me, I never had a gas off. I'ma pop off, yeah, I said I'll pop off. Hit a lotto high, end up in a drop top. Sticky commas, yeah, I keep them in my lockbox. People follow me cause they know that they not rock.
Is your head spinning? Is your heart racing? Is there fire in your veins? Are your bones burning? Is your skin yearning? 'Cause you're driving me insane. I kinda feel like I saw the light. You got me way up 1,000 miles. Can we stay right here in this atmosphere like we're flying out in space? Don't look down. Up this high, we'll never hit the ground. Don't look down. See the sky, we're gonna reach it now. Don't look down. Don't look down. if it's breaking? Are you climbing over walls? Are the times changing? Is the noise fading? 'Cause I wanna get it all. Don't look down. Don't look down. This high will never hit the ground. Don't look down. See the sky, we're gonna reach it now. Don't look down. Don't look down. Don't look down.
Help me with the words to say, 'cause I can't hide how I'm feeling. I can't describe, so challenging. Can't amplify the meaning. Look at how we vibe together. I could never ask for more. Giving me that smile, you better. 'Cause you're the one that I adore. And get high off of your love. I just need it. High off of your love. And you see it. High of your love. I just need it. Of your love. And you see it. Loving me, baby, all night long. In your arms where I belong. Just stay with me forever. And get high of your love. Given to me, I'll do the same. Just like destiny is calling, I'll give the match, you start the flame. Get to the point where we're styling. I gave you the keys, just untied. And this is what you came here for. Let's meant to go together. 'Cause you're the one that I adore. Off of your love. I just need it. Off of your love. Of your love. Of your love. I just need it. Of your love. And you see it. Loving me, baby, all night long. In your arms where I belong. Just stay with me forever. And get of your love. Passion plays.
was coming. That boy thought I was dummy. Running with my chicken, mean you running with my money. Get the tools, make it crank. Bitch, I'm riding in that tank. I ain't walk a flocker, but a nigga hard up in that paint. Sipping Texas tea with my G's, balling off that drink. Evil shawty on my side, better face will make you faint. She ain't gotta hesitate. If it's up, she make it pump. Make it loud, click, clack, bow. Boy, your time is up. It's
oh yeah, so now it's on. Sit back, relax, smoke your blunt and shit. Oh shit, here we go again.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. like a bass guitar. Simmer down and mash me up. Tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford. Shivers down my spinal cord. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Holding. What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah. Yeah, I've discussed it with myself, and I'm disgusted with the way we're told to have a certain face. I stare and wait because we aren't pixels on a screen. No, we're human, we breathe. Every single thing we see curated, it's overrated. These expectations, they keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah.
반카이 관놈 비라키 베니시네 알아 сэр.
Никак нет.
Вы так уродливы?
Скорее наоборот.
Сомневаюсь. Сейчас бы не отказался.
А я вот виски хочу.
Шотландского?
Я пью бурбон.
Деревенщина.
Именно. Обожаю Кентукки.
Ooh, yeah. Keep me waiting, keep me guessing. I know you can blow my mind. I'm clear-headed, so upgraded. Every moment feels like I'm high. They say less is more, it's true. Only one I need is you. I just wanna give my best. I'm sorry if I fail with that. Could it be love? 'Cause we can do anything. Could it be trust? Shivers onto my skin. I can close my eyes, but I got peace in my mind. Could it be love? Could it be us? Keeping me up all night. Keeping me up all night. Keeping me up all night. Could it be love? Could it be us? Yeah. I walked through hell, got out of breath. Then I found you, must be God's sign. Nothing goes bad under your spell. Kinda feels like I'll never die. If you keep me waiting, I'm not moving, I'm here. Keep me waiting. I got trust in you, dear. They say less is more, it's true. Only one I need is you. I just wanna give my best. I'm sorry if I fail with that. Could it be love? 'Cause we can do anything. Could it be trust? Shivers onto my
my sleeve, but I'm holding on. And a smile upon my face, but you know it's all life of the party. Feelings aside, I'm lit as you want me. Life of the party. Feelings aside, I'm lit as you want me. I heard old habits die hard. I'm living like tomorrow ain't a thought. Drinking like they giving out awards. I'm fucking like I'm trying to pick apart. Driving like I ain't see the cars. She rolling off a molly getting off. I ain't the one to follow if you lost. It's personal. BB's on my body, am I cold enough? Hot up on my sleeve, but I'm holding on. Got a smile up on my face, but you know it's all life of the party. Feelings aside, I'm lit as you want me. Life of the party. Feelings aside, I'm lit as you want me. Made it this far, don't let it go to your head. Life for the party, but I'd rather get dead. Put up on my sleeve, had to get it on my chest. Lady in my sheets, had to get out of my bed. Like I'm on now. Girl, you know what I've been on. What you want now? Life for the party. Feelings aside, I'm lit as you want me. Life for the party. Feelings aside, I'm lit as you want me.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. 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 This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. Yeah, this is America. Guns in my area. I got the strap. I gotta carry 'em. Yeah, this is America. Guns in my area. I got the strap. I gotta carry 'em. Yeah, I'ma go into this. 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 This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping. You dead, motherfucker.
Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time.